Just a quick note for everyone watching this video, I'm aware that the audio quality is not up to par with my previous videos. Something happened with my mic, either it got unplugged during the recording process or something's wrong with it. I'm going to have to take a look at it, but apologies for that little mishap. Alright, the time has come to discuss a Minecraft movie, which is the official title of the film. No idea why they didn't just call it Minecraft. That would make a lot more sense to me. I saw this movie last night with a full crowd. There was tons of cheering and applause throughout the entire film. You'll find out momentarily whether or not I was among those clappers and cheerers. Before I dive into the film itself, I do think I should make everyone aware that I am a massive fan of the Minecraft game. I remember first picking it up on my iPad back in like 2012. I remember building my first dirt house, and I remember surviving my first night in the game. It's awesome. I've put it down and picked it back up multiple times throughout my life. I think it is one of the most enduring games of my generation, and I really like it. However, if you were to compile a list of video games that we could theoretically see a live-action film adaptation of, I think Minecraft would be at the bottom of that heap. And the reason for that is because Minecraft is not a story-oriented game. It is very stylistic, and it's about the gameplay. It's about survival. It's not... There's no story to follow and to build on in the form of live action. And because of that, the writers of this film were given a very difficult task. They had to fabricate a story that is completely existing within a world that is not built around the idea of having a concrete story with, conflict resolution, traditional story structure type stuff. Just take a look at Steve, for example. He has a very recognizable attire and appearance, but this is not a character that has any notable characteristics in the game because he is literally just the vessel through which you experience the game's mechanics. He has no dialogue, he has no personality beyond what you exhibit to other players in the environment through your actions. So when Jack Black was cast as this character, I don't know, I just didn't really feel anything because I had no idea what they were going to try to do with the character. And we can sit here and discuss hypotheticals of, what if they cast a different actor to lead the film or created a totally different storyline to follow. At the end of the day, I think what I would say above all else is that Minecraft is not a game that I want an adaptation for, and I don't know that it's really possible to make a good one. And the storyline that they wound up going with is very copy and paste. It feels like something that I've seen 100 times before. It really does boil down to band of misfits must team up to stop evil bad guy by stealing a MacGuffin device that will prevent evil bad guy from completing their plan. Yes, there is more to it. The opening 10 minutes give us an egregious exposition sequence in which Steve explains the Orb of Dominance, how that allows us to travel to the overworld, which is the world of Minecraft that is made out of blocks. And how exactly does Steve end up there, other than the fact that he yearns for the mines, and I guess he's just a super creative person and wants to be able to build things, and so he somehow manages to find his way to this orb that leads him to the overworld. It took a long time for me to even figure out who the protagonist of this movie is, because there are a bunch of other characters who also get a big entrance sequence. For instance, there's Natalie and Henry, two siblings whose mother passed away recently, and I guess they're moving back to their hometown to fulfill her wishes. I'm not sure why they weren't living with her in the first place. And then there's also Garrett, the garbage man Garrison, this emasculated meathead who also loves video games and was like the top gamer of 1980, who knows what the hell. All of the characters that I just mentioned did get an introduction. It was very half-assed, but I think there was potential there. It's just that the movie forgets about that potential and that setup. As soon as they enter the overworld, it's just a bunch of nonsense for an hour and a half. This movie is directed by Jared Hess, and I'll say this, he definitely has a very distinct style of comedy. If you've seen Nacho Libre, you know what I'm talking about. It is very infantile at times, but I will say I enjoy his humor some of the time. The MVP is most certainly Jason Momoa. He knows what kind of movie he's in, and he's playing up this caricature that he is portraying, and it doesn't always work. Sometimes I think it devolves into him being scared by things that pop up in the world of Minecraft, and just running away screaming. That got old pretty quickly. But if Jason Momoa is at like level 100 on the camp meter, Jack Black is at 16,000. I think he's trying way too hard to be as over the top as possible, and I don't know how he even manages to do that considering his personality is already over the top as of late. Sorry, Jack Black fans, I don't know, I just get kind of tired of his same old shtick. Another big issue is that half of this film is dedicated to Jack Black explaining the mechanics of Minecraft, how to make certain items, what they do. We get introductions to the Ender Pearls, Flint and Steel, night and day cycles being super short, the Nether. It's all explained so blatantly, and it's explained in a way that fans of the games, I think, are going to be confused because they already know the mechanics, and people who haven't played the games are just going to be sitting there scratching their heads wondering why this was even made. I have to stop myself now because I completely forgot to mention that Danielle Brooks is also in this movie as the realtor for Henry and Natalie. And look, I don't know if Warner Brothers were just trying to check off some sort of DEI box. And I say that not because I take issue with her being in the movie, but because the movie takes issue with giving her anything to do beyond reacting to things. For instance, early on, she sees a sheep in the overworld and goes, "What the fuck?" And that's her entire character, is to react to all of the oddities of this world with some sort of catchphrase. I just keep thinking back to the money shot that shows all of these characters first entering the overworld and taking everything in, and I'm just like, who the hell are these people? What kind of ensemble are we trying to work with here? I don't know the exact budget, but I'm sure this cost a pretty penny. And I'll admit the CGI is very good, but when it comes to the green screen backgrounds, they are hideous. Whenever they are overlaid with real actors, it's just so blatantly obvious that they're standing on a tiny stage with nothing physical to interact with. Particularly when the lighting and shadows are off, it leaves certain scenes feeling extremely awkward, and it prevents you from becoming immersed in the world. For instance, when you play Minecraft, you're sucked into its distinct ambience, the music, the visuals. This displays none of the creativity of the games, and if anything, it just made me wish that I was playing the game instead of wasting my time watching it. Look, I'm not going to deny that it has its fun moments, but then there's also somehow time for a whole ass subplot about Jennifer Coolidge having a rebound relationship with a villager. There's a character named General Chungus. This is a movie that is clearly trying to capitalize on contemporary meme culture. It thinks all we want to see is funny catchphrases, slang, and visual winks to things that we've seen in the game and wherever else in cyberspace that they may exist for a younger demographic to pick up on. And if I was 8 years old, I'd probably get some superficial enjoyment out of those things. But I don't care how self-aware this is. These types of movies just feel so regressive to cinema as a form of storytelling because they ultimately exist for no reason other than to boost an IP, to make a quick buck. The best that I can hope for to come out of this is that it helps theaters stay afloat in a time where there aren't many blockbusters coming out. I'm going to give a Minecraft movie 2 stars. There are most definitely far worse adaptations out there. This is not Borderlands from last year level bad, but you know what? That doesn't make it good either. This has been a rough couple of months for film. I think I've reviewed like 22 or 23 movies so far in 2025, and I've only given a positive score to 6 or 7 of them. That is kind of depressing to think about. But this is the point where I leave it to you guys to let me know in the comments what you think of the movie. Again, I'm never here to curb people's enjoyment of something that they like. I just don't want to see this become the new norm, and it already is, considering we have so many other remakes and just soulless films that don't care to do anything beyond referencing other better things. Before you take off, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe while you're at it. I'll catch you guys in the next one. See you later.